Sonic Underground Episode 24, Doomsday. Oh, that's a pun on Doomsday. We see a reptile thing come out near a desert that looks like it has ice crystals in it that aren't melting. While that makes no sense, it's pretty cool looking and it's probably magical. The tribe's chief was captured by Robotnik and escaped, and if the resistance found him, they'd know that anyone could escape from Robotnik. And the tribe has been the opposite of buddies with Robotnik for years. Sonia lampshades the tribe living in the desert of all places, and their vehicle crashes. And Sonic asks Sonia if she has any more sunscreen. Manic complains about the desert and asks what good a bunch of nomads who live in the sand could be to the freedom fighters. He's right because it probably won't help him after this episode. Sonia admires the gem, and a laser from a robot sends Sonic into the sandhill. Sonic says their aim is getting better. I doubt it. And then nomads destroy the robot with not only a laser, but an awesome energy sword. I guess they stole their technology from Robotnik? From robots? And he valiantly slices the robot. There's also a nomad with a rifle. These guys are badass and they'll stay in the desert forever doing nothing to take down Robotnik. Actually, with their competence and they're living in the desert, they're kind of like the Sandblasters if they weren't evil and they didn't have tanks. He wants the heroes to go with them. Sonic asks for a hand with her van, and some random desert nomads are actually able to repair a van perfectly fine. I like the music playing when they see a dancer. Sonic is told that one of his group must join their tribe to prove themselves. And Sonic is excited, but they'll only join them for one episode anyways. Manic says he doesn't trust anyone who keeps his face hidden all the time. I guess this means that he's right, and this is clumsy foreshadowing to the face hiding a secret. Manic being cynical is kind of hard to like. He's normally the friendly one. Sonic's told that to join the tribe, he has to defeat a monster that's down in a pit and has long arms. Why risk Sonic's life like that? Are they against Robotnik or not? Sonic jumps on top of the monster and runs around it, creating a tornado and tying its tentacles around each other. Sonic is told he's a member of the tribe, and they decide it's time for a serious jam. No, it isn't. Manic is suspicious again, and told there's nothing to worry about, so obviously there is. This is pathetic. Then he sees that the guy he was suspicious of had a cyborg eye, and for some reason he calls that roboticization, when it's not like the entirety of him was roboticized. And also predictably, Manic is grabbed and kidnapped before he could warn the heroes about this. Since Manic hates the desert, Sonic doubts that he wandered off on his own and walks up to the cyborg, who yells at people for leaving Manic in the desert with no food and water. He's mad at them because his people didn't want Manic to reveal his secret, and these two were the only people who knew his secret. The man had only been partially roboticized, and he doesn't actually have no free will, but the people of his tribe would stop trusting him if they knew what he looks like. This is a brilliant twist. He's actually a good guy. And he tells Sonic that Manic was left in the sun snare drum, the hottest part of the desert, and he says he'll show them the way. Sonic runs at super speed, carrying the guy, and Sleet says that when he sees a smashed swap bot, the heroes can't be far away. He talks as if all hedgehogs are freedom fighters. He then finds tracks that could lead them straight to Sonic, but from Dingo's reaction and his being told to shut up, I can only assume that Sleet is being led in the wrong direction. Manic collapses and he sees a bird fly towards him, a vulture. He throws sand at it to make it fly away. So is he gonna start hallucinating? Have some padding to waste my time with that tired, pointless cliche? Yep, so I skipped it. Sleet spots Sonia through binoculars, and Dingo wants to see her. Sleet is annoyed with him for his crush on her, and tells him to get the swap bots in position. Why does he have a crush on her specifically and not other ladies when he's evil and she's good? Wouldn't he hate her? Sonic finds Manic, he whispers at him for water in a dark moment, but then when he gets water, he magically is healthy again right away. Good, he's still dizzy when he stands. The heroes run away from a sand tornado, and despite Sonic's speed, they take until night to reach the village. Just for the sake of having them see the village devoid of people with everyone in there tied up and muffled. This is completely forced. There's no way Sonic wouldn't have gotten here a lot earlier. He could have reached Sleep before he was finished tying everyone up, especially since he defeats them so easily. Sonic spin dashes to send a tent over the bounty hunters, and the heroes dodge SWAT-bot lasers. Wouldn't it be hard for them to tie everyone up? Would they have to knock everyone out individually with no one around them to protect the one who is threatened? Sonya kicks down a robot and it sparks and explodes. That was easy. At least Sadia made sense. Of course the SWAT bots would be hard to defeat. They're robots! If they weren't hard to defeat, then they wouldn't be so successful with taking over a city. The cyborg nomad and his other nomads fight, and Manic cowardly backs away from the robots towards the monster instead of fighting back with the super strength I thought he was gonna have. And the robots get swallowed by the monster, which is the Chekhov's gun. Good thing the monster was nice enough to not grab Manic. Oh wait, it tries to anyways. Why didn't it grab Manic in the first place when it had no problem grabbing all those other robots? And more importantly, how could it possibly find metal robots to be a filling meal and not feel sick from it? Then the nomads scare away the bounty hunters who have bad acting here. I guess now the cyborg will get the courage to reveal what he really is to the tribe for a corny happy ending. Of course he reveals it. He says that by the tribe's law, because apparently they have a law about this, just in case this ever happened to anyone, apparently by the tribe's law, he will wander the desert as an outcast, and they will elect a new chief. Surprisingly, considering their judgmental reaction at first, everyone re-elects him as their leader. I guess because he was never acting like he had no free will when he was hiding his face from them, so they knew enough to know he wasn't on Robotnik's side. Then Sleek calls Dingo useless when he needs someone around him to transform, so he's not useless. I was reminded of the Sonic Says segment since this filler scene happened after the fade-out when I was expecting the credits. Instead, we see Sleek turn Dingo to a parasol. He should still logically suffer a lot in the desert. He has no fast way to get out of it. Should he even survive this? This episode seemed to go the predictable route at first. Manic was suspicious and eventually he realized the cloaked person really was hiding something with his hood. It makes sense that after all the times they've been tricked by supposed allies and civilians to be suspicious easier. However, the episode gets a lot better after that because it turns out that rather than the leader wanting Manic to be abandoned in the desert, his underlings decided to do it to keep Manic from telling everyone that he's a cyborg and ruining his reputation. But the leader is actually a good guy and kept his free will after the roboticizer had failed, so he helps Sonic find Manic in the desert. It's a brilliant twist, and it's good that after all the clumsy foreshadowing with Manic being suspicious, it wasn't actually the case that the nomads were evil and the leader was a bad guy. I don't think it was necessary for the bounty hunters to have somehow had the time to tie everyone up in the village, or even find the village at all. With Sonic's running speed, he should have reached the village long before that could happen. And plus, nomads with badass weapons end up humiliating them anyways when I thought everyone was still tied up. I guess Sonic untied everyone with super speed at some point, but all I remember is that he made the roof of the tent he was in fall on the bounty hunters. I don't remember him carrying all the tied up people out of the tent and untying them one by one, but I guess we needed to have a climactic ending, even if it didn't make sense to happen. It was a good episode. It's a shame the nomads will never be significant in the fight against Robotnik and will only matter in their personal episode, just because they don't live in Robotropolis. But again, world building is always good. It's much better to see episodes that don't take place in Robotropolis, so we actually feel like the whole world is run by Robotnik and not just one city. That was done better than in Sadia by far. So I hate that the settings we see don't have unique names. At least not remotely memorable ones, aside from Speedster Island. So I just see them as real-life geographical locations, and thus lazy.